Hey, good morning, lovely Spirit Garage people. Welcome to Tiny Desk Church once again for the final week, and then we'll get back to synchronistic worship with you. This week, we're once again at the Lake Harriet Bandshell. This time, we're with the whole of Bethlehem Lutheran Church Twin Cities, our church family. And as I said last week, it's not the greatest to be videoing down there because of the elements and also because of the Wi-Fi. Let me tell you, last week, our worship service, I think, had the largest thunderstorm of the summer during our worship service. So it was a fairly eventful thing, and it would have made a terrible video. I mean, unless you really like storms and don't really care about hearing church. But anyway, what we thought we'd do this week is take some time to talk to you about the Wild Goose Festival. There were about a dozen of us who went down to North Carolina earlier this month to this event that celebrates progressive Christian spirituality and social justice and music and art and a whole bunch of other things. Why is it called the Wild Goose? Well, the wild goose is a symbol of the Holy Spirit in Celtic Christianity. And then it also shows up in a Mary Oliver poem that I am sure that you have heard, and I'll read a little bit of that at the end of this video today. So stick through to the end and you'll hear a part of that. Some of us drove there and some flew in airplanes, not like geese. Although that'd be something. We rented an RV that was delivered to us to house me and a few other people, especially the people who were working hardest on our food. And another RV that drove down there with some people and a bunch of other people who came and camped in tents. So we all got down there. It's about an hour outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, on this farm that is made for events like this, with like lots of RV sites and then lots of tent camping sites, and then just a whole bunch of really big tents set up for all the things that would happen as part of the Goose. Maris and Gail made these amazing meals for us, provided as part of a generous grant from the Bethlehem Lutheran Church Twin Cities Foundation. So we didn't have to stand in long, hot lines at food trucks, but otherwise we were out and about hearing amazing talks about the Bible and gender and sexuality and the ethics of relationships of all kinds, like ethical non-monogamy, for instance, Christian nationalism, AI and Christianity, drag church, climate change, storytelling, the Enneagram with me, decision-making when you have ADHD, how to interpret the Bible, the New Testament especially, without it being anti-Semitic. There were preach-offs, drum circles, and spiritual directors you could sit down with, music stages all day long, art to engage with, a labyrinth, yoga, worship experiences all day long. It was wild. There's just a ton of things that happen at the Goose. And then in the evening, there's a main stage event with singers like Flamey Grant and Spencer LaJoy and Jennifer Knapp. After their concerts, everyone turned to another stage where there were about 10 people standing in the middle with guitars and drums and tambourines and flutes and fiddles and all kinds of other instruments. And they led us in beer and hymns for about 45 minutes each evening, with people singing and dancing at the top of their lungs to hymns like "Be Thou My Vision" and "Come Thou Fount of Every Blessing" and the doxology, but mixed in with things like "Sweet Caroline" and "Closer to Fine." And then we turned back to the other main stage, and the house band took over, and people danced until at least midnight to this fantastic band playing all kinds of music. And they'd be the same band that would get up and lead us to the next morning in worship. Or if you wanted a quieter experience, there was a silent disco every night. Every one of us had a great time, and everyone had a different experience of the Goose, because there was plenty of space for whatever your Wild Goose experience was going to be. It was lively and supportive and transformative to be there. And today we'll share with you some of our pictures and videos and a few comments from people who attended about what they did and what it was like for them. And here we go.
Okay, look how embarrassing. We all woke up and put on the same shirt.
saves. It's mirrors and smoke. Remember all of it's for sure. Should you ever need to go. Altar of fraud. It's the greatest love of all, but if you ever leave, you'll never see the face of God. Through your blood and through the ram, you saved the son of Abraham. By the power of your hand, you turned the sea into dry land. To the outcast on her knees, you are the God who rarely sees. And by your might, you set your children free. El Shaddai, El Shaddai, Echam Kana Adonai. Age to age, you're still the same. By the power of the name El Shaddai, El Shaddai, El Elyon Adonai. I will praise and lift you up, El Shaddai.
Wild Goose is a progressive Christian gathering that left me feeling uplifted and excited and hopeful that the Christian faith is about saying, yes, we are loved. And following Jesus is about stepping into love for myself and for the world.
Hey, this is Maris, and I go to Spirit Garage, and I just had the most wonderful adventure at the Wild Goose Festival in North Carolina. Went down there with about 12 other Spirit Garagers, and we put together a pretty fantastic camp with a couple of RVs and a whole bunch of hardy tent stayers. It was hot at Wild Goose, but it was also full and vibrant with all the other festival goers and the incredible energy and closeness to Christ. The presence of God was everywhere in the people that we met and the speakers that we heard.
Well, hi everybody. This is Spidey Meyer from my backyard. And I just wanted to say a few words about Wild Goose and why I thought it was life-changing, fun, uplifting, and goofy all at the same time.
And one thing that surprised me about Wild Goose is in telling people about it after getting home, because we got to see and hear musicians who are faithful Christians writing thoughtful and helpful music, and they are gay or lesbian or non-binary or drag queens. And for every person I have told about those musicians, they are surprised and delighted and curious and intrigued, and I get to see them experience a kind of hope. Not a kind of hope. I get to see them experiencing hope blooming. It's really been so surprising and so fun.
My favorite part of the festival was beer and hymns. Yes, beer and hymns. Singing at the top of your lungs with about, a couple hundred other people in a band in the middle of a tent at night under lights was absolutely uplifting. I had tears in my eyes. Some of the songs reminded me of my mother, who sang in a choir when I was a kid, and some of the songs were right up to date.
And one highlight of the time at Wild Goose for me was on Saturday evening when our group gathered back by our tent and camper area, and we were sharing different stories from our lives, talking about growing up and things like that. And as our conversation wound its way through the topics that we were going through, we were talking about Prince songs, and then as we were talking about it, we heard the house band up the hill, the honky-tonk blues, jazz, rocky kind of house band playing Purple Rain. And so a bunch of us dashed up the hill and danced to the end of Purple Rain, and then danced to a couple more songs. So that was a really fun highlight, I thought.
I loved the speakers. Every hour was a different topic, which was so insightful. And also I loved beer and hymns as well, but also what they called the honky tonk, which was a dance band, and silent disco. So those were really fun. But what really struck me as powerful was the 1,000 or so people really feeling God's love and loving each other.
One of the things that I learned about that I've been eager to share is this reminder and encouragement that love is strong. And when we are rooted in love, we are not fragile or weak or needing protection. Instead, because of that love that we have and we experience, we can go anywhere, and God's love will contaminate the world for good. So it's like this idea of contamination being a good thing, and that when we are bringing love and hope and joy, we're not weak. It's strong. So thanks for listening, everyone.
I would highly recommend you go to Wild Goose if you haven't been, and enjoy the festivities and the learning that goes on there. I came back feeling really close and comfortable with my fellow Spirit Garagers, and also a bunch of kindred spirits that I met along the way. So it was wonderful. Thank you, Bethlehem, for making it possible.
And I think it was one of the best things that I've done in a very long time. Thanks.
Well, that's a wrap. I hope you got something out of us sharing about the goose, thanks for letting us share a little bit of Wild Goose with you today. Our prayers are with you wherever you find yourself today and always, for all of our common good. And here's that last part of the Mary Oliver poem that has the wild goose part in it. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over announcing your place in the family of things. Take care.